Hello and welcome to my cafe, Roots by the Sea, and welcome to our new podcast, Getting to the Roots of It, hosted by me, Jamie from Roots. Each episode, I'll be baking an absolute classic Roots recipe whilst chatting to either myself or a guest and getting to the root of a subject close to our hearts. Expect sea dips, caffeine-fueled catch-ups, and recipes for the world's best cakes. So, let's get to the root of it. So today we're going to make an absolute belting brownie. It's our favourite brownie. It's called the best brownie in the world. So let's get on with it. So first things first, we're going to melt the butter and the chocolate together over a bain-marie. Just making sure you're getting all those chocolate buns. Bain-marie is basically where you're cooking with steam from the boiling water. For a bain-marie, you want to get some boiling water in your pot and a stainless steel bowl on top, but making sure that the boiling water doesn't touch the base of your stainless steel bowl. To be fair, my bowl's too big for the pot, so the bottom of my bowl has never touched the hot water before, so I don't actually know what will happen. I do really. The chocolate will melt. Will burn, sorry. We want the chocolate to melt. So what is Roots? Roots is my passion and my love for food and drink, particularly coffee and baking cakes. I also love to build communities. Roots is essentially bringing all those things together. But also being outside, swimming in the sea, bringing people together for sea dips. For example, on a Friday morning at 8:30, last year we had a group of doctors that were pretty religious about coming and joining us for a sea swim, and that would extend onto Saturday and Sundays as well. And it was just so amazing that was part of like their ritual over the weekend. So before work, when we first opened the cafe, me, Sophie and Jake, who originally worked here, we used to go for a little sea swim before opening the cafe. I'm just going to add the sugar now. And basically, people used to stop and ask us what we were doing, and we'd explain to them, and we would then extend an invite to them. And then basically the community for sea dipping grew from that, and it became a thing for Roots. I used to go like 7 days a week swimming in the sea, but I think it got a bit difficult, especially like when you have 20 people turning up to a sea dip, and you've got to make all those coffees once they've had a sea dip, so that they're basically warming up after. Alright, so we've added the almond flour and the sugar here. If you want to make it a little bit extra chocolatey, you can add some cocoa powder. So we just like to add it in just to make it super chocolatey. So now I just need to add the eggs to this mixture. I might need a cook because I need to run downstairs and get the eggs. Yeah, okay. So Roots originally started in Peel on the Isle of Man. Some of you may know or may have heard of the Isle of Man TT. Well, Roots is located on the Isle of Man on the west coast in Peel. As I said, it's famous for TT races, Manx cats, and the largest working water wheel in the whole entire world. Right, so now we've got a nice consistency to the mixture. We're just going to make sure that all of the eggs are completely mixed in. If you don't mix your eggs in, it won't be the best brownie in the world. So you got to make sure you get all those eggs mixed in. With our location, we've got an absolutely incredible location. We're on the west of the Isle of Man, next to the historic Peel Castle. But it doesn't matter what the weather's like, whether it's windy, rainy, sunny, snowy even. I remember a day where one of our staff members, Paul, it started to there was a heavy dump of snow on the prom, and we dared him to go and throw himself into the sea, and he did. But I digest a little bit. Honestly, the view that we have from the cafe is absolutely incredible, and it's a view that you can never ever get sick of. So we're just going to add the mixture now into our tin. So we've greased this tin, and then we've obviously put bacon parchment around the edges. But yeah, just going back to the view, honestly, like It's inspiring, helps with like the creative process and thinking of different recipes and different ideas for the cafe and different ideas for where to take Roots. Ooh, what's on the playlist? So we've got some absolute belting tunes on our playlist. It's great. We've also got some really, really weird tunes on our playlist that came from a time where the playlist was open to everyone. So we've got some of my favourite tunes for here are like Charlie Cunningham, Minimum, Ben Howard, Wolves, Mumford & Sons. What else have we got on there? Tom Odell. Oh, Tom Odell. Absolute belting tune. When Tom Odell comes on, Another Love, and the cafe's pumping, absolutely gets the atmosphere going. It's incredible. Just the build up on the piano. Do 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 do, do 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 do. All I need. It's absolute class. So what's really important here is that it's nice and evenly spread, because we don't want one half of the brownie being really low and one half of the brownie being really high. So just make sure you've mixed and spread the brownie nice and evenly. And then from here, it basically goes in the oven for 40 minutes and it'll come out. Honestly, you'll thank me for this recipe because it is absolutely incredible.
Is it the best brownie in the world?
This is nearly the best brownie in the world. It will be the best brownie in the world once it's been in the oven and come out the other side. So whilst the best brownie in the world bakes away over here on our oven, we've got some exciting news to tell you, and that is we are opening a cafe in the city of Douglas. The build is underway at the moment and will be ready in approximately 4 weeks' time. So that means it'll be open before Christmas this year. That's 2022. So what that means for Roots by the Sea here in Peel is that, well, doesn't mean too much, to be honest. It means that we'll still operate 3 days a week, Friday, Saturday, Sunday here. But our Douglas store will open Monday to Friday. So you'll be able to get your fix 7 days a week, like what you've been asking for. So a really important part of the Roots brand is about balance. So in Douglas, it's about grab and go. And then in the weekend, it's about indulging. So cedar, coming down, chilling out with your friends, grabbing a cornflake brownie, one of the most delicious coffees in the world. So we're just gonna check on the brownies. Nope, they need another few minutes. Unfortunately, you're gonna have to listen to me chat a little bit more. You might think that it's a bit crazy that we're opening 7 days a week when I'm talking about striking a balance with Roots, the brand. But actually, what I think will happen for Roots now is that because in Peel, we've kind of pushed it to its like extremities in terms of how we can operate out of here. In terms of the space, as you can see, it's not a massive space, and you know we produce up to like 400 cakes a weekend, for example. By opening 7 days a week, the idea is that we'll have full-time staff which will have specific responsibilities. We'll also have more space to produce more specials and more special brownies, more special sandwiches, more special salads, for example. Roots started, I would say, back at university. I always used to carry a little book around with me, which I'd write all my little ideas down. I was studying law at university. I didn't particularly enjoy it. From there, I then went on to basically start a soft drinks business, which some of you may know as Roots Beverage Company. And then the natural progression from there was into a cafe for us. So here we are, 2.5 years later. We've evolved this cafe from basically a shell, but we've gradually grown it over 2.5 years. Which has then meant that we've had the opportunity to open a second venue, which is in Douglas, which we've talked about. And in particular with that venue, interestingly, before I'd even opened this cafe, I was walking past the shop one day and I was like, I'd love to open a cafe in there. And then the opportunity recently came up for me to open a cafe there. And here we are, in the process of opening our second venue for Roots. Brownie looks ready now. So I'm just going to take this out and let it rest on the side here. There we go, look at that. incredible, I know. So, before we tuck into this absolutely delicious, incredible, mouth-watering, best brownie in the world, baked here on the Isle of Man at Roots by the Sea, what can you expect from further episodes? That's a good question. So we'll have guests from within the community who will come on and help me bake some of our incredible cakes, maybe cakes that you suggested that we make, and we'll talk about all the things that make them tick. So if you want to find out the recipe for this brownie, head over to our website. But without further ado, we're going to tuck into it. So good, so gooey, so crunchy on the top. Perfect, fresh out the oven. That's how it should be. And the largest working water wheel in the whole entire world. Is it in the world or Europe?
I think it's the world. I'll stick to the world.